To all the exhausted parents out there right now running on cold coffee and pure adrenaline, I see you. You're probably tuning in because your sweet, tiny bundle of joy is suddenly making a whole lot of unexpected noise in the middle of the night. You know that midnight panic, staring into the dark, wondering what on earth is going on in that bassinet? Well, go ahead and take a deep breath because you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down this midnight symphony and decode exactly what those newborn sleep grunts really mean. Okay, let's dive into this. It's the ultimate burning question every single new parent asks when they hear a strange sound in the dark. Is my baby okay? It's totally terrifying, right? You hear a noise, your heart skips a beat, and you just freeze. But in this explainer, we're going to answer that question clearly and definitively, so we can transform that midnight panic into confident understanding.
So let's set the scene. It's 2 a.m. The house is completely quiet. Your newborn is finally asleep, or, well, at least you think they are, and then a grunt, an or an You instantly jump out of bed, adrenaline pumping, and you lean over to check their breathing, absolutely terrified. I really want to validate that fear right now. It is completely natural to be scared when you're suddenly responsible for a tiny human, but I also want to immediately reassure you, most newborn grunting during sleep is entirely 100% normal. You are definitely not alone in doing this midnight check, and honestly, more often than not, everything is perfectly fine.
You see, society, movies, and, those diaper commercials, they sell us this beautiful expectation of silent, peaceful, angelic newborn sleep. But the reality? The reality is full of grunts, squeaks, snorts, and wiggles. Sometimes a tiny 7-pound human can sound considerably louder than a full-grown adult sleeping right next to them. It's wild. Understanding the stark contrast between our expectations and reality is really the first step to normalizing what you're experiencing in your own home. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the primary biological reasons for all that midnight noise, which is actually digestion. Think about it for a second. A baby's digestive system is brand new. They're spending a massive amount of energy just learning how to use it. First, they have to learn how to actively coordinate their abdominal muscles. Second, they have to physically push. And third, they finally pass gas or move stool. It's literally a full body workout for them. So when your baby is grunting, in many cases, they aren't actually in pain. They're just working incredibly hard to move things through a developing digestive tract. But hey, digestion isn't the whole story here. Newborns' sleep architecture is completely different from ours. For us adults, the vast majority of our night is spent in deep, restorative, quiet sleep. Newborns, on the other hand, spend significantly more time in what's called active sleep, which is also known as REM sleep. Their brains are highly engaged, processing a massive amount of information, even when their eyes are firmly closed. So what does active sleep actually look like in the crib? Well, it's a phase where babies are doing pretty much everything but lying still. They move their arms, they make these wild facial expressions, they twitch, they whimper, and yep, they grunt loudly. The key takeaway here is that many parents look at their baby doing all of these things and mistakenly assume, oh, the baby is wide awake, I need to pick them up. But often, they're just resting in this incredibly busy, noisy phase of active sleep. If you pick them up, you might actually be waking them up. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the simple physics element of it all. Newborn breathing patterns are already uniquely different from ours. Healthy newborns might breathe quickly for a few seconds and then slow right down. Now combine incredibly tiny nasal passages with even just a little bit of normal mucus, and the result is surprisingly noisy breathing. Air is literally trying to force its way through a microscopic space, creating this whistling, snorting, or grunting effect. It acts almost like a tiny musical instrument. So, with all this noise, how do you know if your baby's midnight symphony is just normal development or an actual problem? Well, you want to look for these clear biological signs. Are they feeding well? Do they have normal skin color? Do they appear comfortable when they aren't mid-grunt? Are they gaining weight appropriately at the pediatrician's office and just generally behaving normally during the day? If the answer is yes, that occasional sleep grunting is absolutely nothing to worry about. It is just the sound of a healthy, thriving baby. However, it is absolutely vital that we also know the red flags. While occasional grunts, squeaks, and brief fast breathing are totally normal, there are signs you should never ignore. If your baby's grunting happens alongside fast breathing that does not settle down, flaring nostrils, skin pulling in around their ribs when they inhale, bluish looks or skin, unusual lethargy, or poor feeding, these are clear signs of persistent respiratory distress. If you see these red flags, that is when you must seek immediate medical attention. We want you to be highly reassured for sure, but also deeply informed. So, the crucial point is, what sounds alarming to exhausted parents is often just a completely normal part of newborn development. When you hear those bizarre noises at 2 in the morning, remind yourself of what we covered today. Your baby is simply learning. Their digestive system is maturing, their unique sleep patterns are developing, and their tiny body is adapting to life outside the womb. Grunting isn't usually a sign of danger. It's simply the sound of your baby growing. So, I've got to ask, has your baby ever sounded like a tiny dinosaur while sleeping? Or maybe a little farm goat or a squeaky door hinge? I really want to hear from you. Tell us what funny, strange sound surprised you the most in the comments below. Let's build a highly interactive community of parents sharing these wild midnight experiences. And if you found this explainer helpful, make sure to subscribe for more evidence-based parenting guidance designed to help first-time parents worry less and understand more. Hang in there, you are doing great. And until next time, try to get some sleep.